will now call to order our afternoon business session. I will now request that Betty Gribb give us the initial credentials report. Betty?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Oh, excuse me. Good afternoon, Commander-in-Chief, council members, and delegates. The opening credential report for the 125th National Convention at the close of business, 4 p.m. yesterday, July 28, 2024. Total delegates registered in their credentials, 1,834 registered. Registered voting strength, delegates, 8,653. Department commanders, 46. National District Council members, 44. Total past Commander-in-Chief, 15. Total national officers, 8. That is my report, sir.
Thank you. Betty! Thank you, Betty. We'll have a report on the Committee on Convention Rules, by past Commander-in-Chief Larry Rivers.
Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. The Committee on Convention Rules met Sunday, July the 28th, 2024. And I would like to thank the members of the staff for all of their assistance. Please refer to your Schedule of Resolutions booklet, the little white booklet, on pages 45 and 46, where you will find the proposed rules for the convention. During our deliberations, one change was made. Rule number 12 was amended to identify the order of voting precedence in the event of a roll call vote. With that, the committee has agreed on the following recommendations, which I respectfully submit for your consideration. In keeping with VFW practice, I will read the recommended rules for the convention. Number 1, that in accordance in conjunction with the national bylaws and manual of procedure, and with the exception noted here, the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, shall be recognized as parliamentary authority for this convention. Number 2, that when a registered delegate desires to make a motion or address the convention, the delegate shall rise, address the chair as Comrade Commander-in-Chief, and after being recognized shall state their name, post number, and department before proceeding. Number 3, a registered delegate shall be permitted to speak but twice on any one subject or any pending resolution for a period not to exceed 5 minutes each, by consent of 2/3 of the voting strength of the convention president voting, provided the chairman of the convention committees may speak as frequently as necessary in connection with reports of their committees. In the event of controversy, the presiding officer shall not entertain any motion which will curtail further debate without affording the maker of the resolution or a member of the delegation presenting the resolution an opportunity for 5 minutes of final rebuttal. Number 4, all resolutions offered by individual registered delegates must bear the endorsement of the department commander or, if absent, the department adjutant. All resolutions must be submitted to the Office of the Adjutant General for numbering and referral to committee no later than 12 p.m. Wednesday, July the 31st, 2024, and must be accompanied by a written explanation as to why the resolution was not presented to the department convention for consideration. Number 5, all resolutions offered on the floor of the convention will initially be in writing and shall automatically and without reading be referred to the Adjutant General for assignment to the proper committee. Number 6, committee chairmen in reporting on resolutions referred to their committee shall first read the number of those resolutions on which favorable action is recommended. Specific resolutions may be set aside for individual action at the request of any delegate, the others being voted upon collectively. After action has been taken on all such resolutions, the chairman shall read the number and title of those resolutions which the committee has disapproved. A resolution disapproved by the committee shall be automatically rejected unless a motion is made and seconded that it be approved, in which case it shall be brought up for debate and convention action. Number 7, this convention will not consider any resolution dealing with the expenditure or appropriation of organizational funds. Number 8, the convention will not consider any resolution endorsing legislation sponsored by any other veterans organization or requesting us to join with any other organization in sponsoring legislation not expressly provided by the members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Number 8, only delegates to this convention may speak in debate, make motions, and vote during convention proceedings. Number 10, delegates shall vote individually on any item of business coming before the convention and cannot be required to vote as a block with others from their delegation. 11, voting strength shall be determined by those delegates registered as of the close of the credential registration booth the previous day and is reported to the National Convention. The department commanders will receive, prior to the beginning of each business session, a list of posts that have properly registered delegates. Only delegates representing those posts listed on the report will be accorded voting privileges. If a roll call is required, number 12, if a roll call is required, the following is the order of voting precedence: national officers, past commanders-in-chiefs, National Council of Administration, department commanders, followed by unaffiliated posts. Ascending alphabetical order by department will be utilized for the National Council of Administration and department commanders. The department commander of each delegation shall poll their delegation's registered delegates on the floor and shall announce the vote of their delegation. Number 13, registered delegates of a delegation may arrive at a vote in any manner, but shall announce it in terms of full units and not in terms of a fractional part of a vote. 14, reconsideration of a motion or resolution upon which final deposition has been made shall not be allowed after the meeting at which it was acted on has been recessed, unless the body is notified of such contemplated action prior to the close of that meeting. Number 15, when the report of the department commander of the delegation is not acceptable to all registered delegates of the delegation, and a poll of the department registered delegates is demanded by 3 registered delegates of said department, the adjutant general shall poll the registered delegates without discussion of question. Number 16, in accordance with Section 621 of the National Bylaws, voting shall be by acclamation as defined within Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, except a roll call may be demanded by 10 registered delegates representing posts in 10 separate departments or by order of the Commander-in-Chief. Number 17, nominating speeches for the national officers shall be limited to 5 minutes each. The time allocated to encompass all seconding speeches shall be limited to 4 minutes total. Nomination and election of national officers will be held according to the Congressional Charter, bylaws, and Section 617 of the National Manual of Procedure. Number 18, registered delegates and persons recognized by the chair shall be entitled to a respectful hearing, and the chair shall have the authority to clear the gallery or the floor or have the sergeant at arms escort from the floor any person or persons who may create any disturbance which interferes with the orderly procedure of the convention. Number 19, the Commander-in-Chief may, as may be necessary and appropriate to informing the membership of the activities of this convention, authorize that all or parts of the convention be streamed to the website of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Number 20, consent of 2/3 of the voting strength of the convention present in voting is necessary for suspension of the rules of this convention. That completes the reading of the convention rules. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I move that these rules be adopted by the convention at this time.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the convention rules. Coming out of committee doesn't require a second. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, additionally, Robert's Rules of Order calls for the adoption of the convention agenda. Therefore, I move that the convention agenda that's currently displayed on the VFW Convention app, and as from time to time may be adjusted by the Commander-in-Chief, be adopted as the official agenda of the 125th National Convention.
We have a motion out of committee. It doesn't require a second. You don't hear, I have a hard time hearing when you're sitting on stage, so I have a hard time hearing what it is to try to repeat it, and that was a long one. So I will have it repeated if anybody needs it. Is there any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that concludes my report. Thank you for the opportunity to serve on this committee. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll now have a report of Committee on National Bylaws, Manual Procedure, and Ritual. Chairman is past Commander-in-Chief Vincent B.J. Lawrence.
Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. The Committee on National Bylaws, Manual of Procedure and Ritual met Sunday, July 28, 2024. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Vice Chairman of this committee, past Commander-in-Chief Paul Spera from the Bay State of Massachusetts. I would also ask all the members of the committee stand to be recognized at this time. Committee members, please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. They worked hard. Comrades, the proposed amendments are in the booklet you received in your registration packet. Please refer to your booklet as I read the proposed amendments the committee recommended for adoption. Please note, proposed bylaw amendment B2 and Manual of Procedure Amendment M1 were both withdrawn by the Commander-in-Chief prior to the convening of the committee meeting in lieu of Resolution 204, which was submitted for consideration by the Finance and Internal Organization Committee. Commander-in-Chief, the following proposed amendments were deemed out of order in committee. C1, B1, B3, M3, and M6. First, I will read the committee's recommendation for approval. Then I will initiate a motion to adopt those proposed amendments. If a delegate wishes to set aside a proposed amendment for discussion, they will approach one of the microphones. When asked, state their name, post number, and department, and ask that that amendment be set aside. After set-asides have been identified, we will vote on the motion to adopt the other proposed amendments the committee recommended for adoption. Then, we will discuss the set-asides. After we complete the proposed amendments the committee recommended for adoption, I will read the proposed amendments the committee rejected. Unless these proposed amendments are adopted through a motion, duly seconded and passed with an affirmative majority vote, they will die based on the recommendation of the committee. Commander-in-Chief, the committee recommends for approval the following proposed bylaw amendments: B5, B15, and B16. Commander-in-Chief, keeping with the rules of this convention, I move these proposed amendments are adopted. Here's your numbers for adoption. B5, 15, and 16.
We have a motion out of committee, doesn't require a second, to adopt B5, B15, and B16. Recognize microphone number 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Adam Wallace, Post 328, Department of Wisconsin. I request B-15 be set aside.
Request B-15 be set aside.
Thank you.
B-15 will be set aside. Seeing no others? Oh, microphone number 1.
Post 6342, Rhode Island, agrees as well. For B-15. B-15 is set aside.
We just set it aside. Right, B-15, we just, Comrade, we just set B-15 aside. Seeing no others, we'll vote on the rest in block form. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Now to the set aside. B-15. Any discussion? I'm sorry, microphone 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Adam Wallace, Post 328, Department of Wisconsin. B-15 is a concerning bylaw change. Currently, 2/3 vote is the most important things that we do in this organization, like amending bylaws, selling buildings, disciplinary action, and also, too, our current bylaws require the Assistant Quartermaster General and the Assistant Adjutants General also be 2/3 majority. And in keeping in consistency, I believe that B-15 should be maintained at 2/3 majority. And while I recognize that it is the Commander-in-Chief's appointment, the Adjutant General is the very most important appointment that that commander makes, and is effectively the CEO of our organization. And I think that lowering this could be a slippery slope leading to potential cronyism and not getting the right person in that office. And if our National Council cannot by 2/3 majority elect or affirm the appointment of an Adjutant General, then that person probably doesn't belong in that office. And with that, I request a roll call vote on this matter.
Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Ken Wiseman, National Council Member, Department of Virginia. Comrades, we are sent by you who elect us as National Council Member to do 2 things. 1, most important, make good decisions to move the organization forward. And 2, represent the interest of our departments. As you just heard, the National Adjutant General is one of the most, if not the second most important positions we fill, with the Chief being the most important. The Chief does get to pick the Adjutant General, but the Chief should be picking an Adjutant General with a vision and a belief of what is best to move forward with this organization. We're not picking the post officer of the day. You're picking someone to supervise 200 employees, a $100 million budget, and to move an organization that's existed since 1899 forward. If a 2/3 vote is so difficult, we should re-examine who the candidates are. Now, you may hear that in the past, this changed from 50% to 2/3, and no one knows why. We know exactly why. Number 1, the convention ordered it to change. You, the members, had the foresight that there should be balance between the Commander-in-Chief and the National Council, in between the conventions, on these exceptional issues. And number 2, there was significant political concern about some of the candidates we were hearing about, and we're hearing some of that concern again. We should not erode the importance of how we pick something or pick someone to fill a position that is so important. Please vote no on this, and I yield back, Comrade Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you, Comrade. Microphone number 3. Or tell me 1.
Yeah, one was first, Chief.
Microphone number 3. I'm going by departmentary and saying who was up with the number first.
Commander-in-Chief Ken Yount, Department of Nebraska Commander. I'm here to second a roll call vote on this. This is something, a subject matter that really cannot be handled just by a simple voice vote on this. This matter obviously has been demonstrated by the last 2 speakers as being that serious. And there's many of us that feel this way. So I would simply second the motion of a roll call vote. Thank you, Chief.
Microphone 1. Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief,
Sir.
thank you. My name is Larry Rivers. I'm a delegate from VFW Post 1736 in Alexandria, Louisiana. Perhaps I speak probably from a little experience because I've had the opportunity and honor to serve you both as your Commander-in-Chief and also as your Adjutant General. And you know, as I said in the committee meeting yesterday, I wasn't a member of the committee and listened to the debate. The first thing I thought was, I can't imagine a Commander-in-Chief trying to appoint an adjutant that couldn't get 2/3 vote. Nor can I imagine an Adjutant General wanting to serve that didn't have a 2/3 vote of the support of the members on the council. And my second thought was that any time that resolutions come before this body to tinker with our bylaws, and particularly when they have the purpose to lower somehow or restrict the participation of our members, we need to look at it with caution. The fact that, and as I listened to some of the debate was made, it was more like a bookkeeping entry because sometimes in the past we didn't have anything, sometimes we did. Our delegates, when they passed this resolution, had concerns, and I'm not sure that those concerns have abated here today. There's nothing wrong with giving our members more of a voice. The more we open up this organization to participation, whether it's through you individually as these delegates or through you members on the National Council, the stronger we are as an organization. I encourage you and deplore you for the good of this organization and the long-term health that you vote down this amendment. It is a bad idea. Thank you, Comrade Commander-in-Chief.
Recognize microphone 3.
Commander-in-Chief Alicia Judd, VFW Post 5352, Department of North Carolina, and I would also like to second the motion on a roll call vote.
Thank you. Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Dave Souza from Department of Nevada, Post 3386 delegate. My question is, and I'm going to probably need some clarification. If a commander at the post, district, and department and the commander-in-chief appoint somebody, are we now going to require them to have a 2/3 majority vote for them to accept that appointment? That's what we're asking this organization to do. In the past, like before last year, it was the commander-in-chief had a majority vote. I don't know why we're doing a 2/3 vote, but if we do that with the commander-in-chief, are we going to require every level, the post, the district, and the department to do a 2/3 vote for every appointment they have? That's all I have, sir.
Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Erica Traxler, Department of Oklahoma, Post 5263. Thank you for your time today. So it was mentioned yesterday in the committee that this was brought up by the Commander-in-Chief, and he has expertise that many of us do not have. But looking at it from my perspective, without his expertise, the adjutant's position is the most important position next to his in this entire organization. It is also the most highly paid position in this organization. It is our responsibility to make sure that we as a group are making good choices. Our commander-in-chief is not perfect. So then it falls on our Council of Administration to confirm that appointment. What happens if they don't confirm that appointment? That means the answer is no. So that means that they don't think that that person that the commander-in-chief chose is correct, or would be the right person for the position. So do you want that to be done by a simple majority, or would you expect that to be done by 2/3 vote? That's what we're looking at today. Do we want to keep it 2/3 vote because we want to hold the National Council of Administration accountable for supporting our national commander, or do we want to have it be a simple majority? Please think about that before you vote. Thank you, Comrade Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you, Comrade. Microphone 1. Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Ken Romine, Post 56, Kansas. I've sat here and listened to everything a lot of these said. I was part of the committee yesterday, and I totally understand what everybody's saying. except to the point that the appointment actually comes from the highest paid position of the Commander-in-Chief, not the Adjutant General. 616 says the Commander-in-Chief appoints. Then you move to 618, then it states that they can appoint off of a 2/3 vote. The Commander-in-Chief, as long as everybody else out here has a vote, they get voted by majority. If the Commander-in-Chief is voted in by a majority vote and his Adjutant General now has a 2/3 vote to stay in, what we're offering there is a political asylum, because then you do not have an appointment. You have an election, because we know everybody gets a voice. So if the National Council has a voice, then the majority votes should win. We're taking away the majority. Our posts, our departments, our national bylaws. When you think about it, then you start taking away your vote. So if the national office to be held by the Adjutant General is an appointment, and if that's the highest job that people are saying, then we need to change the appointment or the position, not an appointment by the Commander-in-Chief. And I think that's what everybody's forgetting about. We're taking away people's votes if you don't recommend approval. Thank you.
Microphone 3.
Barry Walter, Delegate, Post 4005, Michigan. I rise in opposition to this bylaw amendment, and I support a roll call vote.
Thank you, Cameron. Microphone 3.
Russ Safel, Delegate, Iowa, Post 9127. I also rise in opposition and support a roll call vote.
Thank you, comrade. Microphone 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Maurice Bridges, Post 4183, State Commander, Department of Illinois. I also rise in objection of this as well and request a roll call vote.
Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Kerry Pfeiffer, VFW Department of Ohio State Commander, VFW Post 2920. I also ask for a roll call vote.
Thank you. Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Corey Mahan, Post 2714, Department of Indiana. I also request a roll call vote.
Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Mark Turner, Department State Commander for the...
You got, sir, comrade, speaking in the microphone.
Mark Turner, Department Commander, State of Rhode Island. I also support a roll call vote.
Microphone 2.
Commander-in-Chief, Barry Hendrickson, Post 1782, White Bear Lake, Minnesota. It is an appointment, but as we talked about the financial, whoever talks about it, appointing your adjutant at your post. Your adjutant at your post doesn't make over $200,000. And if we change the adjutant just because the Commander-in-Chief wants to come in, there are further financial ramifications. I'm not saying there's a big golden parachute, but it's more than just salary. This is so important. Our council should be able to get 2/3. And if we don't get that 2/3, we've got the wrong person. We're not going to move forward. Thank you.
Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Rick DePonte, delegate vote from 4238 in Missouri. I also rise in opposition, and I ask for a roll call vote. Thank you, Commander.
Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, John Keene, Delegate Post 1, Department of Colorado. I rise in support of this change back to a majority vote because I've heard so far today talk about consistency. And as the department commander, it only took a majority of my council to approve my appointment of my adjutant. And I'd also like to point out that this does not go beyond department because the post and the districts don't pay this position. This is for a paid appointment, requires confirmation, and if we're going to be consistent, we should roll it back to 50%, a majority vote, to keep it consistent with what happens at the department level. But I would also like to, if we don't already have it, make it 10 motions for a roll call vote, because I think no matter where you stand on this, your voice should be heard.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Comrade.
Microphone 1.
Commander, Department of South Dakota VFW State Commander Glennis Collier and member of Post 2038 in Pierce, South Dakota. South Dakota also would like a roll call vote, and we do oppose this motion.
Thank you. Microphone 3.
Comrade Commander Lonnie Potts, 8530.
Hey, Lonnie.
South Dakota. I would like to call for a roll call vote also.
Microphone 3.
Commander Steve Organ, Department of Mississippi, Post 5395. Call to question.
The question has been called and needs a second. Is there a second? Somebody got to come up with some sort of, I recommend microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Ken Wiseman, National Council Member, Department of Virginia. We've heard enough opposition. I second the motion.
The question's been called and seconded. Stand by. We're going to do a roll call vote. We got to take a vote on this motion. So. You're going to explain to them. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Comrades, going to give you 10 minutes to caucus with your delegation. 10 minutes, not 11, not VFW 10 minutes, you know what I mean? 10 minutes. The question was called and it was seconded.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, point of order. Is it really necessary to do a roll?
Comrades, real quick, stand by.
Is it really necessary to do a roll call vote for the call for the question?
Correct. Thank you, Comrade.
Thank you, Ashley.
All in favor of calling the question?
All in favor of those calling for the question, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Here, crickets. Ashley, thanks for straightening this out, brother.
All right, brother, where we at now? Where'd you leave off at? So
We're still here.
We adopted the
I don't know.
I'm hoping. Which one did you? I thought this one and the 4-year would come up, but we'll see.
Oh, so the 4 years.
Jeff Carroll.
Jim Weiser, Department of New Jersey, would you like to be a tallier? A tallier, we need somebody to tally the votes. Would you like Jim? Jim Weiser. All right. Max Mason, Department of Pacific Areas. Max, would you like to be a tallier? Count the votes. Step forward. Who's that, Larkin? Mark Larkin from North Carolina. Come up and be a tallier. I just got three. I got three. Thank you.
They actually got more than that. I stopped at so 87, 66. So it'll be on the adjutant general, but I mean, once we hit 51%. Some people stood up and talked and didn't stay. That's correct. Yeah, but then it went on for, I think we had about 13 or 14 total.
I was writing it down too. I kind of quit after about 13.
Huh?
Which one's yours? Which one's mine, brother?
I'm here.
Thank you. I got my paper right there. I got my paper there.
Comrades, 10 minutes is ending. All right, listen up. Just for clarity, a yes vote is for the change. A no vote, keep the same. Are we clear? Crystal. Yes vote to change. No vote remains the same. I'm going to turn this over to Adjutant General Dan West.
Afternoon, comrades.
you're going to have to, whatever they vote repeats.
Yes,
You
I
know, it's
will
hard to
repeat.
hear. It's hard to hear back here.
Got it.
County.
Comrades, the way this voting will work, I will call off the total delegate street of our convention is 8,653 delegates. According to the rules of parliamentary law, a simple majority is required to pass this vote or defeat it. That will be 4,384 delegate votes. That is 50% plus one. Feel free to check me on your Google Math phones, whatever. Okay? We'll start at the very top per our convention rules. Commander-in-Chief Dwayne Sarmiento, you registered for your position. How is your vote?
Yes.
Senior Vice, you registered as a delegate. National Junior Vice Commander-in-Chief, you registered for your position. How is your vote? No. Let me repeat that. The Chief voted yes. The Junior Vice voted no. Adjutant General registered as a delegate of his post. Quartermaster General, you registered as an individual for your position. How is your vote? No? The quartermaster is a yes vote. National Judge Advocate General, you registered as your position. How do you vote? No. Judge Advocate General votes a no. National Surgeon General, you register as the Surgeon General. How do you vote? No. He registers as a no vote. National Chaplain, you registered for your position. How do you vote? No. A no vote. National Chief of Staff Carrie Pritchard, how do you vote? Yes. Carrie votes as a yes. National Inspector General Pete Massetti, how do you vote? Yes. Votes a yes. Past Commanders-in-Chief. Edward Bonas registered as a post delegate. Tim Borland, you registered as a past chief. How do you vote? No. A no vote. Commander-in-Chief George Kramer registered as a post delegate. Richard DeNoyer registered as a post delegate. Past Commander-in-Chief Brian Duffy registered as a past chief. How is your vote? No. Brian Duffy is a no vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Richard Eubank registered as a past chief. How is your vote? No. Past Commander-in-Chief Eubank registers as a no. Commander-in-Chief John Fergus registers as a post delegate. Commander-in-Chief Glenn Gardner is a post delegate. Commander-in-Chief past Commander-in-Chief John Hamilton, how do you vote? No. No vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Keith Harmon, how do you vote? No. A no vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Vincent B.J. Lawrence, how do you vote? No vote given. Past Commander-in-Chief John Moon, how do you vote? No. No vote. Past Commander-in-Chief James Nyer, how do you vote? No vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Thomas Pouliot, how do you vote? A yes vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Larry Rivers, how do you vote? I think a Texan can decipher that Louisiana language as a no vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Harold Roche, how do you vote? No. A no vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Doc Schmitz, how do you vote? A no vote. Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Spera, how do you vote? Yes. A yes vote. Past Commander-in-Chief John Stroud, how do you vote? Hell no. I think that was a Nevada hell no. Past Commander-in-Chief Bill Thine registered as a post delegate. Past Commander-in-Chief Robert Wallace, how do you vote? No. A no vote. Council member from Alabama, Scott Gedlin, you registered for your position. What is your vote? A no vote. Council member from Alaska, J.R. Hackett, registered for your position. How is your vote? A no vote. Council member from Arizona, Lewis Wood, you registered as the council member. How is your vote? No vote. Council member from Arkansas, Donald Barnes, registered as your position. How do you vote? Council member Barnes, how do you vote? Is he here? How you vote? He votes a yes. Council member from California, Dale Smith, registered as a post-delegate. Council member from Colorado, David Stone, registered as a post-delegate. Council member from Connecticut, David Green, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Delaware, John Mitchell, how do you vote? Council member from Europe, Pete Massetti, you already cast your vote, right? No vote for Massetti then. I mean, he did not cast a vote. Council member from Florida, Ken Core, how do you vote? Council member from Florida, Ken Core, how do you vote? Third time. Council member from Florida, Ken Core, how do you vote? Not present. Council member from Georgia, Jeff Carroll, registered as a post-delegate. Council member from Hawaii, Norbert Enos, how do you vote? No vote, correct? Idaho, council member from Idaho, Rocky Davis, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Illinois, Matthew Clausen, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Indiana, Johnny Capps, how do you vote? Council member from Iowa, Michael Brayman, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member from Kansas, Patrick Briggs, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member from Kentucky, Robert Daugherty, how do you vote?
No vote.
A no vote? I see you there, Robert. No vote for Robert Daugherty. Council member from Louisiana, Big Sexy, Robert J. Laverne. Council member from Louisiana, Robert Laverne, how do you vote? Council member from Louisiana, Robert Laverne, how do you vote? Not voting or not present. Council member from Maine, Stephen San Pedro, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Maryland, Denise Perry, how do you vote? Council member from Maryland, Denise Perry, how do you vote? Council member from Maryland, Denise Perry, how do you vote? Not present or not voting. Council member from Massachusetts, Eric Segundo, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member from Michigan, Kevin Conklin, how do you vote? Council member from Michigan, Kevin Conklin, how do you vote? Council member from Michigan, Kevin Conklin, how do you vote? Not present or not voting. Council member from Minnesota, Dale Hoogovan, registered as a post-delegate. Council member from Mississippi, Stephen Organ, how do you vote? Yes vote. Council member from Missouri, Eric D. Sullivan, how do you vote? Council member from Missouri, Eric Sullivan, how do you vote? Council member from Missouri, Eric Sullivan, how do you vote? Not present or not voting. Council member from Montana, Jack Hawley, how do you vote? Yes? That is a yes vote. Council member from Nebraska, Joe Smith, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Nevada, Gerald Peterson, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from New Hampshire, Leon Rideout, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from New Jersey, Bill Thompson, registered as a delegate, but he's also not here. Council member from New Mexico, Linwood Hampton, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from New York, Gene Ratigliano, how do you vote? Council member from New York, Gene Ratigliano, how do you vote? Council member from New York, Gene Retigliano, how do you vote? Not present or not voting? Council member from North Carolina, Greg Stafford, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from North Dakota, Bill Tuff, registered as a post delegate. Council member of Ohio, Chris Haynes, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member from Oklahoma, Kurt Watts, how do you vote? No vote. Council member from Oregon, George Carroll, how do you vote? Council member from the Pacific areas, Ken Stein, how do you vote? Council member from Pacific, Ken Stein, how do you vote? Council member from the Pacific, Ken Stein, how do you vote? Not present or not voting. Council member of Pennsylvania, Glenn Umberger, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of Rhode Island, Eric Ducat, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of South Carolina, Ted Tufts, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of South Dakota, Barbara McKean, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of Tennessee, Brian Walker, how do you vote? Council member of Tennessee, Brian Walker, how do you vote? Council member of Tennessee, Brian Walker, how do you vote? Not present or not voting. Council member of Texas, Inga Conley, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of Utah, Dennis Parizek. Sorry, Dennis. A no vote. Council member of Vermont, Charles Magnet, how do you vote? A no vote. Council member of Virginia, Kenneth Wiseman, how do you vote? No vote. Council member of Washington, Frederick Green, how do you vote? Yes? Thank you. Council member of West Virginia, Thomas Anderson, not present. Council member of Wisconsin, Corey Geisler, how do you vote? No vote. Council member of Wyoming, Rodney Burkle, how do you vote? A no vote. All right, let's have some fun. I want to greatly appreciate all of you for the opportunity to do something I've only seen done once in my 29 years of history, and that's a roll call vote at the National Convention. I'm going to ask all of the departments to line up at your microphones in alphabetical order. Somebody figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So, but just so you know.
All right. We all know Alabama's going to vote first, right? All right, let's get started. Alabama, you have a voting strength of 115. How do they vote?
All 115, no.
115, no. Alaska, you have a total strength of 130. How do they vote?
130, no.
130, no. Arizona, you have a total strength of 314. How do they vote?
314, no.
314, no. Arkansas, you have a total of 180 votes. How do they vote?
Unanimous, yes.
180, yes. For the Department of California, you have 220 votes. How do they vote?
114, yes. 105, no.
114, yes. And how much for no?
105.
105, no. For the Department of Colorado, you have 138 total votes. How do they vote?
All yes.
138, yes. For the Department of Connecticut, you have 100 votes total. How do they vote?
100 no.
100 no. For the Department of Delaware, you have 81 votes. How do they vote?
81 no.
81 no. For the Department of Europe, you have 352 votes. How do they vote?
168 yes. 186 no.
168 yes and 186 no.
Correct.
I'm sure somebody will correct me if my dyslexia gets in the way. The Department of Florida has 311 votes. How do they vote?
311 no.
311 no. The Department of Georgia has 224 votes. How do they vote?
241 no. You said?
Did you say 241?
That's what you said, didn't you?
No, you got 224.
All right, stand corrected. 224 no.
224 no. I appreciate you for trying. I am dyslexic. You almost got away with it. The Department of Hawaii has 80 total votes. How do they vote?
Department of Hawaii votes all 80 no.
All 80 no. The Department of Idaho has 74 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Idaho votes 2 yes, 72 no.
2 yes and 72 no. Tough decision there, right? Department of Illinois has 272 votes. How do they vote?
11 yes, 261 no.
11 yes, 261 no. Department of Indiana has 239 votes. How do they vote?
239 no.
239 no. The Department of Iowa has 47 votes. How do they vote?
We vote no.
All 47?
All 47.
47 votes no. For the Department of Kansas, you have 230 votes. How do they vote?
1 yes, 230 no.
So 229 no and 1 yes. You have a total of 230. Is that right? Where you at, Kansas? Come back
That's
up.
correct. Adjutant.
That's correct. All right. 1 yes and 229 no. I can do math. I can only do up to 5, though, so. Department of Kentucky has a total of 224 votes. How do they vote?
224 no.
224 no. The Department of Louisiana has 129 votes. How do they vote?
129 no.
129 no. The Department of Maine has 91 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Maine, 91 no.
91 no. The Department of Maryland has 220 votes. How do they vote?
24 yes, 195 no.
24 yes and 195 no. I don't think that comes up to 220. We'll let it stand unless it's, you're missing 1 vote.
Yeah.
You have 220 registered delegates. 24.
Okay, so my
one-
sheet had 219 on it. That's why we were short 1. So it's 196 no, 24 yes.
196 no, 24 yes. The Department of Massachusetts has 107 votes. How do they vote?
107 no.
107 no. Department of Michigan has 178 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Michigan votes 178 no votes.
178 no. The Department of Minnesota has 134 votes. How do they vote?
134 no and point of order.
134 no and a point of order. I don't do points of order. That would have to be the Commander-in-Chief. What, he's got a point of order. I don't know what it is.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Davis Stalin, State Commander, Minnesota. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe the Adjutant General said this requires a majority vote. This is an amendment to the national bylaws, which requires a 2/3 vote.
It's been corrected.
That's been corrected, comrades. Thanks for pointing that out.
Just real fast, our national parliamentarian informed me that I actually made a mistake because I'm dyslexic. This requires a 2/3 vote, that we're voting on a 2/3 vote. Everybody see the irony? They told me they would get me what that delegate count is for 2/3, all right? So, all right, the Department of Mississippi, you have 118 votes. How do they vote?
118 no.
118 votes no. Department of Missouri, 246 votes. How do they vote?
All 246 no.
246 no. The Department of Montana has 73 votes. How do they vote?
73 votes yes.
73 yes. The Department of Nebraska has 124 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Nebraska votes all no.
124 no. The Department of Nevada has 117 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Nevada, 117 votes no.
117 no. Department of New Hampshire has 38 votes. How do they vote?
Department of New Hampshire, all 38 no.
All 38 no. The Department of New Jersey has 132 votes. How do they vote?
112 yes, 20 no.
112 yes and 20 no. Department of New Mexico has 116 votes. How do they vote?
Department of New Mexico, 116 no.
116 no. The Department of New York has 137 votes. How do they vote?
137 votes no.
137 no. The Department of North Carolina has 169 votes. How do they vote?
169 votes no for North Carolina.
169 no. The Department of North Dakota has 39 votes. How do they vote?
Department of North Dakota, 39 votes no.
39 votes no. The Department of Ohio has 302 votes. How do they vote?
The Department of Ohio, 302 votes no.
302 no. The Department of Oklahoma has 90 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Oklahoma, 90 no.
90 for no. The Department of Oregon has 88 votes. How do they vote?
All votes no.
88 votes for no. Department of the Pacific Areas has 240 votes. How do they vote?
Comrade Adjutant General, the sheet I have in front of me says I have 239. I'll take the 40.
You have 240, 239 registered delegates, and then you have one department officer.
Very well. Department of Pacific Areas votes 240 no. And woo!
240 no. Department of Pennsylvania, you have 252 votes. How do you vote?
Department of Pennsylvania votes 252 no.
252 no. Department of Rhode Island has 26 votes. How do they vote?
The Department of Rhode Island votes 6 yes, 20 no.
6 yes and 20 no. Thank you. Department of South Carolina has 231 votes. How do they vote?
231 no.
231 no. The Department of South Dakota has 53 votes. How do they vote?
53 votes no.
53 no. The Department of Tennessee has 132 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Tennessee, all 132 votes, no.
132 no. The Department of Texas has 575 votes. Really?
Department of Texas has 402 on the floor, 359 no, 43 yes.
You complicating things because that's not in our rules.
They're not.
You have 575 votes. How many are yes and how many are no?
So the commanders weren't here. All right. Well, we'll go back and recalculate.
I think your peers just told you if they weren't here, then they're still voting.
Yep.
How many yes, how many no, and I guess how many you want to not vote?
Yeah. 530.
All right, Texas, take your ass to the back of the room and figure it out.
All right, here we go. 531 no, 43 yes.
All right, say that again.
531 no,
531 no,
43 yes.
43 yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your cooperation.
Life
you may
is
find
good.
your seat back there. Had to be my home state, too. Department of Utah has 63 votes. How do they vote? Where's Utah at?
Department of Utah, 12 yes, 50 no.
All right, Department of Utah has 12 yes and 50 no. You're missing one. All right. Vermont, Department of Vermont, you have 55 votes.
Department of Vermont, 54 no.
54 no. You're missing a vote too. You got a total of 55.
55 no.
55 no. All right. Yeah, you can applaud that. That one vote's probably going to break the bank there, so. Department of Virginia, you have 493 votes. How do they vote?
Department of Virginia, all 493 vote no.
493 no. Department of Washington has 219 votes. How do they vote?
It says 218. Department of Washington is 17 yes, 201 no, and ours says 218.
Yeah, you have a total voting strength of 219. How many are?
202 no.
202 no. How many yes?
17.
15. You say 15 or 16? 15. 15 yes, 202 no for the Department of Washington. West Virginia has 170 votes. How do they vote?
Department of West Virginia, 170 votes no.
170 no. Department of Wisconsin has 178 votes. How do they vote?
Wisconsin, all votes no.
178 votes no. The Department of Wyoming has 33 votes. How do they vote?
Wyoming, all votes no.
33 votes no. Comrades, I'm going to ask your patience while the tally committee figures this out and gives the results to Commander-in-Chief. Thank you.
I give everybody credit on their math skills, that's for sure. Except for a few of yous. I didn't see any shoes off, so we did good. Comrades, while we're waiting here, listen up, please. Woo! Hey, we got workshops scheduled for 4 o'clock. Look, this is the first committee. We're going to push those workshops to 5. If we go much later, we'll have to reevaluate at that time whether we cancel or move forward. Okay? Makes sense? I don't want nobody getting up going, I got to go to a workshop. I mean, all the staff, everybody's here for that. So let's see, we're going to push them workshops to 5 that were scheduled for 4. What's that do to, what time's cornhole start? Quentin, how long is cornhole? Quentin, how long are the workshops? Well, not everybody's playing cornhole. The workshops were originally scheduled for 90 minutes as it was. So if you were going to play cornhole at 5 and had a workshop at 4, you weren't getting out of there at 5:30 anyway. We'll just, you'll have to make your personal preference if you want to, if you're in the cornhole tournament or you're going to a workshop, that's all. Look, let's not test the math again. I think we got by good this time. Everybody had the right numbers. But we got a Marine back there counting. There's smoke coming out of his ears. Larkin looks like he's on fire. That's the membership.
1 minute, Dwayne.
I see. Right?
1 minute, 1 minute.
1 minute, we'll start. Comrades, stop. Come on, we're running late. Fucking guys. All right, on the motions or on the vote, 909 yes, 7,852 no. The motion to adopt does not pass. It is failed. Next. Comrade, past Commander-in-Chief B.J. Lawrence, back to you.
What? I can't hear you. Thank you. Commander-in-Chief, now I will read the proposed congressional charter and bylaw amendments that the committee rejected, which will die unless a motion is made for adoption. I like that. Commander-in-Chief, the committee rejected the following proposed bylaw amendments: B4, B6, B7, B8, B9, B10, B11, B12, B13, B14, B17, B18, B19, and B20.
Are there any motions to adopt these proposed amendments? Are there any motions to adopt these proposed amendments? Hearing and seeing none, they die. Are you done? No.
He's got jokes. He said, "You done?" No. I will now read the proposed amendment to the Manual of Procedure the committee recommended for adoption. Commander-in-Chief, the proposed amendment is M2. Commander-in-Chief, in keeping with the rules of this convention, I move this proposed amendment is adopted. M2.
Is there a set aside? We have a motion out of committee. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. I will now read the proposed Manual of Procedure amendments the committee rejected, which will die unless a motion is made for adoption. Commander-in-Chief, the committee rejected the following proposed Manual of Procedure amendments: M4, M5, M7, M8, M9, M10, M11, M12, M13, and M14.
Is there a motion to adopt any of these proposed amendments? Hearing and seeing none, they die.
I will now read the proposed amendment to the ritual that the committee recommended for adoption. Commander-in-Chief, this proposed amendment is R1. Commander-in-Chief, in keeping with the rules of this convention, I move this proposed amendment is adopted. R1.
Is there a set aside? We have a motion out of committee, doesn't require a second. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Passed.
I will now read the proposed ritual amendments the committee recommended rejected, which will die unless a motion is made for adoption. Commander-in-Chief, the committee rejected the following proposed ritual amendments: R2, R3, and R4.
Is there a motion to adopt these proposed amendments? Hearing and seeing none, they die.
Here's the best part, comrades. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, this concludes my report and the work of this committee. On behalf of myself and Vice Chairman Sparrow and all our members, we thank you for your confidence placed in this committee to administer the affairs. Thank you to all the committee members for your hard work and members of staff for their assistance. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, thank you for the appointment.
Ooh, now this next one's a toughie. I'm just kidding. Hey, we have the report on Committee on Finance and Internal Organization by past Commander-in-Chief John Moon.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. Comrades, I am pleased to report that the Committee on Finance and Internal Organization met Sunday afternoon at 1400 hours in Hall D and discussed the items before the committee. The proposed resolutions were distributed to each department and posted online. These resolutions contained in the booklet that you received at registration, plus each member of the committee received an additional booklet at our meeting. Commander-in-Chief, with your permission, I will begin the committee report by presenting those resolutions the committee recommends for adoption, and then proceed to those that were recommended for rejection. Resolution number 204, amendment to section 230103 of the Congressional Charter of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Comrade Commander, I move to accept the committee's recommendation to approve this resolution.
We have a motion to adopt. Doesn't require a second. Is there any questions on the motion? Oh, I apologize. Is there any set-asides? Microphone 3, is there any set-asides?
Stuart Juarez, the Department Quartermaster for the State of Iowa, Department of Iowa, moves to set aside that motion for discussion.
It's been set aside. Microphone 1.
Dale Smith, Post 3783, Department of California. I move to accept 203, adopt 203.
We are not taking those motions at this time. We're only taking set-asides.
Comrade, we're only taking set-asides now, Dale. We're not at that point yet.
Comrades, I see a lot of you at the microphone. Say this.
Comrades, I see a lot of you at the microphone, and I'm trying to move back and forth. Does everybody want this set aside? I mean, if you're up here, we got it. It's already here, unless you got something new. All right, I just want to make sure. Microphone number 2, JR.
Point of order, I guess, isn't it, since it was moved and it's a second, it doesn't require a second, it would go to discussion, correct?
No, not unless set aside.
I jumped the gun. They set it aside. We're going to have this discussion on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll wait for discussion then.
I got you.
So discussion, microphone 1.
Discussion, microphone 1. Discussion, microphone 2.
Jonathan Hackett, Post 9365, Department of Alaska. I stand in opposition to this resolution. The reason I stand in opposition to it is I understand that there's membership and we need to come up with a way to strengthen our ranks, and I'm not opposed to that. But I think to allow people who, yes, they may have been during the Cold War in what we called the front line, that front line, although there were weapons on the other side and weapons on this side, it's not the same as dodging around. It's not the same as being in combat. And we're a Veterans of Foreign Wars organization. And I strongly believe that we should keep it that way. And it was discussed yesterday in committee that under our charter of 501c, that as a war organization, if you fall below a certain percentage of that body not being war related, then your contributions that you receive or donations would no longer be able to be written off in IRS taxes when it comes to the people who are making those contributions. I'm strongly opposed to this because I feel that the difference in being on the front line in that type of a situation when it wasn't a declaration of war and being in true combat are truly significant. I now yield.
Thank you. Microphone number 1.
Commander, Marty Aguilar, Post 10054, Department of Nevada. I stand in approval of this. Give me 1 second. I had this all typed up. Sorry. To propose an important change to the eligibility rules would allow all veterans who served during the overseas during the Cold War from 1945 to 1991 to join the veterans of foreign wars. These individuals played a crucial role in maintaining global stability and deserve recognition for their service. Strategic importance and constant readiness during the Cold War, U.S. military personnel stationed in Asia, Africa, and Europe were vital to deterring the spread of communism and maintaining peace. These veterans operated on the front lines of an ideological, political, and at times physical confrontations requiring constant vigilance and readiness. Their contributions were essential to our nation's security and the defense of democratic values. They were exposed to hostile environments. Although direct combat was not always involved, many Cold War veterans stationed overseas faced significant threats, including espionage, proxy wars, and political instabilities. U.S. forces in Europe, for instance, dealt with the threat of the Soviet aggression, while those in Asia were involved with the Korean and Vietnam conflicts. In Africa, they navigated regional conflicts and groups. The environments they served demanded the same level of bravery, resilience, and dedication as traditional combat zones. Veterans of the Cold War was substantial. They faced the constant threats of nuclear war, needed to be ready for rapid response to crisis, and endured prolonged separation from family. Recognize their service, acknowledges comprehensive sacrifices they make, which were akin to those veterans of more conventional combat rules. The VFW already includes veterans who served in support roles in various conflicts. Recognize that military service encompasses a range of duties beyond direct combat. For example, veterans stationed in Korea who were part of a crucial strategic presence during the Cold War have been allowed to join the VFW. This inclusion sets a precedent that supports the recognition of all Cold War veterans who served overseas, emphasizing the value of their diverse and essential roles in maintaining global security. This alignment with the VFW's mission includes fostering camaraderie among U.S. veterans in overseas conflicts and ensuring they receive due recognition and support, including Cold War era veterans aligned with the missions by acknowledging their pivotal role in the significant period of U.S. military's history. Their inclusion would enrich the VFW with diverse experience, perspective, foster a broader understanding of military service. That's all I have.
Thank you, comrade. Comrades, if you're speaking on just this resolution, I ask you to come forward to the mic. If you're speaking on a later resolution, kind of just, we'll get your chance. It ain't like we're going to rush this and you don't get your chance. That way it's not confusing who's waiting, which microphone. Thank you. Microphone number 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Russ Safel, Iowa, Post 9127. So I agree with the gentleman over there, and I would never discount anyone's military service. However, that does not change the definition in the law of what a combat veteran is, what a war veteran is. In the state of Iowa, we have provisions where only organizations comprised wholly 100% of combat veterans that get property tax abatement. That is 20 other states that have the same exact issue. So we're talking about issues where this vote could change implications in your state. Now, if you want me as the state adjutant to go back and tell every single one of my 113 posts they now have to pay property tax because we voted to allow non-combat veterans into our organization, no thank you. That's all.
Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Jim Davis, Department of Georgia, Post 12002. Chief, I rise to support this motion. I was in the committee. I believe there's some simple facts that we need to consider, and I would like to share with you 3 personal experiences. Number one, in the spirit of Occam's razor, the well-accepted phrase here is Cold War. Let me emphasize that again, Cold War. I believe the operative word is war. When you go to war, then you are subject to hostile environment, you are in harm's way. Secondly, in our congressional charter, there is the phrase, in hostile waters. It may be that the legislature would find it appropriate to add hostile lands in addition. Thirdly, I have a fraternity brother who was a weapons officer on a Los Angeles class attack submarine. At a homecoming celebration before the homecoming game at Georgia Tech, he had a few too many beers. Someone in the group brought up the discussion of, wow, I was really, really afraid. With his head down, he muttered, "You have not known fear until you have been on the bottom of the harbor of Vladivostok." And I said to him, "What did you say?" And he said, "PJ, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything." Didn't know what he meant till I read the book, Blind Man's Bluff, and I recommend that you all read that, of submarine warfare during the Cold War. And it turns out that we sent fast attack subs into the harbors of Russia with nuclear chemists embarked on board to check the waters coming down that river for nucleotides so they could determine, was that nuclear reactor just making power or was it making plutonium? And I suggest to all the members here that my fraternity brother and everyone else on that Los Angeles attack class sub was in harm's way. Secondly, I worked with a young man who was a recon platoon leader for a mechanized infantry company deployed in Germany again in the 1990s. Every week, 1 week of every month, his recon platoon sat at the terminus of the Fulda Gap. And quite often, the Russians would send 100 or more tanks screaming down the gap, and they had no idea whatsoever if this was simply an exercise to gather ELINT on our signals operating procedures, or if it was the real deal. Because if it had been the real deal, they estimated they would last 15 minutes, they were there to be a speed bump, and they would all die. And I suggest to you that they deserve recognition for being functionally in combat. Thank you very much, Commander-in-Chief.
Microphone 2.
Commander-in-Chief, James Joyce, Post 10692 at the Department of Europe. I stand before you all as a Gulf War veteran. I earned my eligibility over there in Desert Storm. Prior to that, thank you, sir. Thank you. Prior to that, I was a Cold War veteran. I can swear on that Bible right in front of me right there that the fear I had as a Cold War veteran was 1,000 times more than the fear that I had as a Gulf War veteran, serving in the Gulf War. The opponent that we had during the Cold War was much more formidable than any opponent we had over in the Gulf War. We had nuclear weapons pointed at us. We had nuclear weapons in Germany that we were there to protect, maintain, and have ready to use. When I came over to Germany, it was my first duty station. I was brought over there as an OH-58 Aero Scout observer. I flew in one of those little tiny helicopters with no weapons. And my mission was to fly border surveillance along the Czech-German border. There were times when I was in that little tiny helicopter looking across the border with a fully loaded Hein pointing right at me. That fear was never felt over in Desert Storm. So contrary to what I heard in the committee, and I was in the committee, contrary to what I heard in that committee, we weren't over there just drinking Bavarian beer. On the contrary, I prefer bourbon, by the way, Kentucky. But we weren't just over there playing. We weren't just over there having fun. There's a lot of similarities between the Cold War veterans and the Korean veterans of today. I'm talking about the Korean veterans from the 57 on, after the armistice was signed. I keep hearing, hey, Korea's still at war. There's a big difference. Korea's not at war. That armistice ended the war. They may not have ever signed a peace accord, but the war is over. The fear over there in the Korean Peninsula has got to be the same fear that the Cold War veterans were feeling. You have the armory pointing right at you. You're sitting there with a 38 pistol and 6 bullets in your pocket as your defense. I have to stand with the weight of 22 million Cold War veterans still alive that need to be recognized, and I need the VFW to stand up for them. Thank you.
Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, my name's Larry Rivers. I'm a past Commander-in-Chief of the VFW, and I think maybe a little institutional knowledge may be helpful to us on this debate. You know, over the years, and I used to say many of you, but now I'll say some of you, since us Vietnam vets are getting a lot older, many of us have had this same debate for years over the National Defense Service ribbon. And we used to have, when the World War vets were still alive in huge numbers and the Vietnam vets were younger, we would have these huge debates about whether National Defense Service ribbon should be eligible for the VFW. We've heard these same kind of debates. World War II veterans in overwhelming numbers opposed it. Vietnam veterans in overwhelming numbers opposed it. Now we have a new generation of veterans that are now going to deal with the same question. And let me just tell you a little bit about the history of the VFW, and excuse me because many of you know this already. You know, when we were founded, we were called the Veterans of Foreign Service. And somewhere along the way, the ones that founded this great organization and built it, a foundation on which we could grow to where we are now, decided that we were not the Veterans of Foreign Service, we were the Veterans of Foreign Wars. That doesn't disparage anybody else's service. Anybody that's worn the uniform of this country deserves our respect and admiration. That does not mean they deserve membership in the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. I'm a Marine. I was a platoon commander and a company commander in the infantry in Vietnam. Had Marines wounded and had Marines died. By the grace of God, I didn't get wounded. Many of you carry the Purple Heart for wounds you received in battle. You have an organization called the Military Order of the Purple Heart. I can't come to you and say, look, I didn't get wounded, but I was close, and I got shot at, and I may have been wounded had they not missed. So can I be a member of the Military Order of the Purple Heart? You would laugh me out of the room. You would. If we are going to go down this slippery slope of membership and change who we are, there's an old adage I think we need to remember, and that's this. Before you start down that road, you need to decide where you're going. So where are we going? Are we changing the nature and the flavor of the VFW to where we're not seen as combat veterans? Our brand is the strongest among veterans organizations in this country. When our fellow American citizens see VFW, they think of combat veterans. That doesn't disparage any service of our other fellow veterans at all. If we are going to change who we are, then who are we trying to become? We were designed, once we changed our name to Veterans of Foreign Wars, to be a last man organization. And even though I'm approaching 80 years old, I hope the last one of you that is still alive, that has earned eligibility in this organization, turns out the lights and says, God bless America. This is wrong for the organization. It's not the time for this. I urge you to reject this resolution and to keep this organization what we know and love, an organization of combat veterans. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief.
Microphone 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Dan Kramer, Post 8258, Department of Nebraska. I if I'm not mistaken, we have ways of getting some of those folks in, the veterans of foreign wars. Did we not okay a deal to, if they received hazardous duty pay, they can belong? Is that not correct? I see no reason to, like the comrade said, change who we are and call it recognition. If we want recognition for these folks, have them stand up, we'll give them a round of applause. I have no problem with that. That's recognizing them. But to allow them into a combat organization when they were not in combat, that I do have a problem with. And I'm not saying that they weren't more scared than I was when I was in combat. Who knows? I can't argue that with them. What I am saying is they were not there in the right place at the right time to belong to the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. Thank you, Commander. Chief.
Microphone 2.
Commander-in-Chief, Jim Nail, Post 5789, Missouri. I rise in opposition. This is personal. My wife was a spook stationed in Okinawa. It irritates her to this day that I am eligible and she is not. However, this resolution as written is simply too broad. While I do agree there are specific types of duties in specific locations that might need to be examined, to include the entire continents of Europe, Africa, and Asia simply does not meet the standard of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone 3.
Commander-in-Chief Derek Peters, 477, Department of Pennsylvania. The VFW is an elite club of combat veterans where, like me, we were out where my buddy got shot in the face and I got blown up. I'm sorry. If they want to come in and be a part of somebody, they can go to the Legion where they're more than welcome. But the threat of anything should not qualify, where the action of combat puts us separate. I'm trying to be careful with my words, so excuse me.
You're doing good.
I'm going to leave it there because then I'm going to get pissed.
Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Erica Traxler, Post 5263, Department of Oklahoma. Are we not the greatest combat veteran organization in the world? Keyword, combat. If you have not been in combat, you cannot be in this organization. If you have not earned the right to be in this organization, we should not allow you to be in this organization. Hostile fire pay does allow you to be in this organization. Does everybody get it? No. But if you are in a hostile environment, you would get it. So why on earth would we allow people to be in this organization who have not earned it? Think about that. Thank you, Comrade Commander-in-Chief.
Microphone 3.
Stuart Juarez, Post 738, Department of Iowa, Quartermaster for the department as well. I stand and say this is not the way to get them into this organization. We should petition Congress for those that saw a hostile environment to get their expeditionary medals. We should petition to get them find their records for hostile pay. They could then earn their right to be to this organization. We are not changing our bylaws or our charter or asking Congress to change our charter to change who we are. We are not the Legion. And when Iowa did that and changed their little thing, they ended up paying property taxes. They ended up paying. We are gathered as combat veterans. The issues that we're trying to do here with this resolution is change our charter. The thing says actually, if you read, it asks us to ask Congress to change our charter. Negative. Stay where we are. Let's give them the opportunities to prove that they deserve to be in this organization with getting their hazard pay, getting their hostile fire pay, imminent danger, whatever they need to prove. That's where we should go with this, not to change our charter and who we are. Thank you.
Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Dave Souza from the Department of Nevada, Post 3396 delegate. I want to correct one of our comrades over there. It's not hazardous duty, it's hostile fire and imminent danger pay that is allowed in Section 101 of our charter. If you guys take a look at it, it says any foreign war, insurrection, or expedition which service is recognized by the award of a campaign or service medal of the United States. I can read the rest, but the Department of Defense, the Department of Army has not authorized a Cold War medal. They have not authorized, they have only given an honorable service certificate for the Cold War. So I stand in opposition of this. We are a combat veterans organization and that we should live by our bylaws.
Microphone 2.
Commander, this is Lynn Mariano, VFW Post 8616, Department of Hawaii. I rise in opposition of this amendment for several reasons. First, what everyone else says reference hazardous duty, hostile pay. Second, I was a Cold War veteran as well. Third, if we were to change this, we wouldn't have to change our organization and the way we think and the way we move. So what I suggest is that we reject this and we have it so that we keep the VFW as the premier combat fighting organization. Thank you.
Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, my name is Manuel Ignacio, Delegate, Post 9896, Department of California. I come to you as a frontline combat infantry soldier. I also come to you as a peacekeeping soldier, and I also come to you as a soldier that's gone to Ukraine to train those men for war. And I stand in support of this resolution, and here's why. I define combat probably differently than a lot of other people define combat. To me, combat is you're actively engaged with the enemy. I've been on peacekeeping missions where I'm helping keep the peace. And I've been on training missions where I've trained men and women for war. What is the difference? Do we not allow, I got my eligibility from being on a peacekeeping mission because they gave me a darn medal that I didn't even want. I got my eligibility from being in combat in Iraq. So we allow people in Korea who get the Korean Service Medal, but they've never fired around. But these men and women in the Cold War, and you can't tell me they were not stressed out, they weren't afraid for their lives. You can't tell me that they weren't scared, because I was sitting there in Ukraine scared off my butt, watching people come back in body bags, but yet I'd never fired a round. But does that not make me a veteran? Is it just because I was in Iraq? Or is it just because I guarded Patriot missiles in Kuwait? How do we define a veteran? How do we define a combat veteran? And if you are telling me that a combat veteran is somebody that went overseas, did a peacekeeping mission, got hostile fire pay, I would have to disagree. And I don't mean to offend anybody. Because a veteran to me is somebody that went on a mission and did what they had to for their country, for their families, and for the people back home. That's what a veteran is to me. They went overseas. It wasn't their choice that they didn't have to fire rounds. There's many of us in this room that never fired a round. And there's a lot of us in this room that got Purple Hearts, been blown up, and had to shoot the enemy. And I'm speaking frankly. What's the difference? We're all veterans. We all went overseas and served our country. But we're saying because they didn't get a medal, they didn't get a couple extra dollars in their paycheck, that they can't join the greatest organization for veterans on the planet. And I say that's a crying shame. And to be frank, I'm a little bit embarrassed at some of the things that my fellow comrades said, because I've met the greatest veterans of my life, and they've never fired around, and I've met some veterans, and I've lost some veterans in war. And I tell you what, all of them are veterans to me. And with that, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I call for the question.
Oh, no. You can do it. We need a second. We need a second. We have a call for the question. Is there a second?
Randall Himes, Post 9612, Pacific areas. I call for a second.
We do have a second. We're going to move to voting for calling for the question. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We're going to move on the adoption of the resolution 204. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? That was close. I'm just kidding. The resolution is defeated.
Thank you. Comrades, I will now read to you those resolutions that were up for rejection. Resolution number 201, family rate. Resolution number 202, inclusion of military working dogs in VFW membership. Resolution number 203, motorcycle clubs, groups, and associations. Are there any that they want set aside?
Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander Dale Smith, Post 3783, Department of California. I move to adopt Resolution 203.
Motion to adopt 203. Do I have a second? We have a motion to adopt 203. Is there a second? Microphone 3.
Jody Freitas, Post 523, Department of Massachusetts. I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Mike Riley, VFW Post 1069, Ohio. I'm also the Ohio State VFW Riders President. I am opposed to this motion. We have an issue with the connotation of MC and VFW. Granted, these guys were given a charter 15, 20 years ago. I think mistakenly. There is 34 states with VFW, recognized VFW riders groups we are trying to pull together as a single unit. This resolution, if passed, changes the name of VFWCA Motorcycle Club to VFW Motorcycle Club. I believe that is a bad thing for our organization as a whole. I would like to see how many people are in the VFW Riders Group if they could stand up, because I don't know how many of you guys want to be associated as an MC or with an MC or accidentally with an MC. Raise your hands if you want to.
Comrade, address the chair. No, just said talk to me.
Oh, I thought you told me.
Hey, can I be in charge for a minute?
Sure.
I'm a kid, comrade. Keep going.
Anyway, what I was saying was that I don't think, well, There's an issue with leadership in the VFW Riders Association that I would like to talk with somebody about after the convention. But in the meantime, you're not getting a consensus of your VFW Riders Group members. This is kind of a last minute thing as far as I was concerned. I was really surprised to read what was in it. There's going to be people that come up and say, we don't want you guys in our group, we're not going to this, we're not going to that. One of the things they want to be able to do is expand. They said that they can't expand into another state until they have a member there. Well, nothing personal, but that's how viruses grow too. I don't want to be a member of an MC, and I don't want to be associated. If I wanted to join an MC, trust me, I could. So with that, I oppose this motion, and I yield.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commander.
Microphone 3.
I have an amendment to make, but before I just want to make a comment. Are we equating our fellow comrades in the VFW to a virus?
Who are you?
Jody Freitas, Post 523, Department of Massachusetts. I'd like to make a motion to amend Resolution 203 as follows. It's a resolution, you can make an amendment. So, strike whereas in the second paragraph, combine the first and second paragraphs. Strike the 7th paragraph.
Jody, hold on a second. We got to make sure we're getting that up here.
I have it written, I'll give it to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Replace the final paragraph with the following. Be it resolved that the name of the VFW California MC be officially changed to the VFW MC to show national participation as one club. All new charters will grow off of existing chartered chapters as the motorcycle club expands nationally by following the VFW club bylaws and VFW national bylaws, and allowed to continue to exist providing they adhere to the guidelines as provided for in Section 708 and 709 of the national bylaws.
I have a motion to amend. Do I have a second? Microphone 1. I'm sorry, Dale.
Commander Dale Smith, Post 3783, Department of California. I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion?
Comrade Commander, Ashley Little, Post 4548, point of information. Whenever we started the VFW Riders Group, I don't remember exactly if it was 2011 or if it was 2012. It was tabled one year and we brought it back at the next convention. But correct me if I'm wrong, we grandfathered in a Veterans of Foreign Wars motorcycle club. So if we grandfathered in a Veterans of Foreign Wars motorcycle club out of California, mind you, it was grandfathered in as a Veterans of Foreign Wars motorcycle club, grandfathered in. Now we're going to take the California out of it, and on what I just heard him read, we're going to change it to a Veterans of Foreign Wars motorcycle club. We didn't grandfather in a Veterans of Foreign Wars motorcycle club. We grandfathered in a Veterans of Foreign Wars California Motorcycles Club. Okay. That's something I think we ought to think about there.
Any other discussion on the amendment? Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Eric Luke, VFW Post 1512, Department of California. Okay, this organization's been around for 20 years, and a little history, I've been in it that long.
Comrade, I know what is this about the amendment, the discussion? I'm asking you. Or is this about the motion, the first motion, or just about the amendment?
I'm sorry, then I'm out of order.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Microphone 3.
Tom Williams, Department of Maryland. Dwayne, I'm opposed to this whole thing. We just started this. Gebhardt had wanted us to.
Tom, we're only talking about the amendment, pal. Just the amendment. You can say you're opposed to the amendment. That's fine.
Okay. Never mind then. It's good.
Tom, when we get past the amendment, you please come back. I'm just trying to stay within part. I got a national parliamentarian telling me, like, oh, you know, trying to keep me straight. I got to throw you under the bus. Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Dave Souza, Nevada. My thing is motorcycle clubs. I cannot approve an amendment or anything that says motorcycle clubs.
Thank you, comrade. Any other discussion? Microphone, on the amendment. Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I've had a request that the amendment be read for clarification.
Sure. Let me get my glasses. Whoa. No woo with glasses. Jody, it's the whole thing, correct? If amended, it would read. Whereas prior to the adoption of Resolution Number 308, the 111th National Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, August 23, 2010, motorcycle clubs, groups, and associations existed as units of post with authority of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. And the VFW CAMC have been operating since 2003 under the authorization of signature of John J. Sink, Jr., then Adjutant General, under the command of then Commander-in-Chief Edward S. Banis, Sr., Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. And whereas these units have not caused any discredit to the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States nor the sponsoring post, and whereas temporary coordination between these motorcycle clubs, groups, and associations may have and was required prior to the establishment of said clubs, groups, and associations with members of the Confederation of Clubs for the purpose of ensuring the safety of riders and no further contact after such coordination has existed. And whereas there is pride in the current existence of these motorcycle clubs, groups, and associations that have been instilled for years and has brought pride and comradeship amongst our younger members, and whereas these units have existed and are controlled under Section 708 and 709 of the Veterans of Foreign Wars National Bylaws now. Therefore, be it resolved that the name of the VFW CAMC be officially changed to the VFW MC to show national participation as one club. All new charters will grow off the existing chartered chapters as the motorcycle club expands nationally by following the VFW club bylaws and VFW national bylaws, and allowed to continue to exist providing they adhere to the guidelines as provided for in Section 708 and 709 of the national bylaws. Is there any other discussion on the amendment? Microphone 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Chris King, Post 10427, Department of Texas, Vice Chairman of the Department of Texas Motorcycle Group. I rise in opposition to the amendment. As we are a motorcycle group, this sounds like it would create two entities within the state or within the VFW. We are a motorcycle group without any desire to become a club, and it would override us.
Microphone 3.
Greg Stafford, Department of North Carolina, National Delegate, Post 6060. In the motorcycle world that I came from, if you labeled yourself as an MC, that meant you were a 1% club. And a lot of these outlaw clubs will beat the crap out of you if you come.
Comrade Greg, is it about the amendment? Is this about the amendment? I'm asking.
The amendment says MC, don't it?
Okay.
Motorcycle club?
So does the resolution. Continue. Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. And if we got to be careful with the terminology. If we go MC, that's a 1% club where I'm from. And 1% clubs don't like you. You know what a 1% club is?
I know.
Like Hell's Angels and outlaw motorcycle gang. Yeah.
Greg, we got real you, and we're coming down to the amendment. I get it. I get what you're saying.
I thought that was the amendment.
The amendment is both of them have motorcycle club in it. Both the resolution.
Right. Right.
We're only talking about whether to amend this,
okay.
or we're talking only about to amend the original motion. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, you can come back and talk how either one is passes.
Call the vote on the amendment.
Call to question the amendment. Is there a second? Microphone 2.
Commander-in-Chief Bill Schaffler, Delegate 1222, past All-American Commander, Arizona. I will second that.
We have a motion and second to call the question on the amendment. All in favor? Opposed? The call for question does not pass. We'll continue with discussion on the amendment. I recommend microphone number 2.
Commander Samento, Commander-in-Chief, I guess. Tom Anderson, Post 4008, Texas, past state chairman for the motorcycle group, and I'm currently with the Riders Advisory Committee. Talking with the members yesterday, we are absolutely against this program. The amendment would change our denomination and what we are about, and we are also against that. So that's where I'm at, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the amendments? Microphone 3.
Commander-in-Chief, Russell Pryor, Gabby from VFW Post 261, Indiana, Indiana State Riders Chairman. What I'm here to talk about is the MC and the connotation that my comrade before me just spoke about. MC means motorcycle club. It does not designate you as a 1%er. I've ridden in motorcycle clubs. I have never been a 1%er, nor do I care to be a 1%er. But a motorcycle club, yes, because of the camaraderie, the family, the brotherhood that we had, that's what I'm talking about. MC has a variation of meaning, not 1%er. Thank you, Commander.
Comrades, hold on a moment. Comrades, stand by.
All right, this amendment is out of order. They can't give out charters.
Charters will grow off of existing charter. That means they will issue. This is a money-funded thing. They're trying to generate their own funds by issuing charters.
The amendment is out of order because we cannot give out. They cannot give out charters.
It's still on the amendment.
Stand by, comrades. We have I just been advised some information. In the last be it resolved, it states all new charters will grow off existing charter chapters and expand nationally. I was advised that this is them issuing charters, and if that is the case, this amendment is out of order. So I'm ruling this amendment out of order.
To the main discussion.
We're going back to the main discussion, though. The main discussion is still in order.
Number 1.
Microphone. Everybody got that? We're still on the main resolution. Microphone 1.
All right. Now they come to the MC's got to get up there and start talking.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I think I'm in order this time.
Yeah, I think so, brother.
Eric Luke, VFW Post 1512, Department of California. All right, I'm going to start off by clearing up all the misconceptions. One, the riders group and us are not being put under the same umbrella. So the states that think we're going to come in there and you're going to be forced to become the MC, it's two different communities. All right, there's a brotherhood, a very tight brotherhood because you earn your patch in an MC. The gentleman over there just cleared up that not every MC is a 1%er. There are 99% of other MCs that are not. So quit watching Sons of Anarchy, quit thinking everybody's the Hells Angels, quit thinking everybody's a bandito, because that's not the case. All right, this organization's been around 20 years. We work the VFW's mission, no one does more for vets, harder than anybody in this room. My people are going to talk about that as they get to the microphone. I'm sorry, I think I have the mic. We're a force multiplier. All right, there are people in this room right now that own motorcycles that don't want to be in an RG. We're that option. Just like when the RG went nationwide. The multiple growth that we got off of that in membership. The MC can be the same thing for people that want to be in an MC. We can show you what we can do. These guys are going to tell you what we do, and hopefully we get the support we're looking for. Thank you, Commander.
Thank you. Microphone 1.
Lieutenant Commander, Miles Fry, Post 2080, State of California. So the VFW Motorcycle Club touches a demographic that the VFW goes nowhere. Hear me out, please. The motorcycle community is largely comprised of younger veterans and people that truly want to give back to the community and not sit at the canteen or the local post. Motorcycle enthusiasts across the community ask us about if they are eligible for the VFW, and we thank them for our service. We are all life members of the VFW. We are not standing here to fight for our existence, but rather educate to membership and allow our brothers and sisters that left for various reasons a chance to ride in our organization that they have sacrificed so much for. We support the Enlisted Project, Warrior Foundation, Freedom Station, stand downs in both North County, Riverside, and San Diego, and local posts. Our focal point is the community and camaraderie within our group and promoting the VFW everywhere we go. Instead of grouping us with the thousands of MCs that exist in the United States, seek us out, talk to us, and ask us what we're all about, and let's plan a ride. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Microphone 1.
Commander Chairman, Kevin Buss, VFW Life member, Winchester Post 4379. I'm also a proud member of the VFW Motorcycle Club. I've been a VFW member for 33 years. I've been a VFW Motorcycle Club member for 12 years. I think one of the problems we have today is education. People are not aware of what a motorcycle club is. There's negative stereotypes out there, and I'll give a prime example. Our local senior center did not receive food on Columbus Day if it fell during the week. The government did not provide the food. They asked the motorcycle club to come in and cook for them. We were told to expect 50 people. We cooked for 100. 12 people showed up. I'm a wallflower. I'm afraid to talk to people. So after we finished the meal, I walked around and talked to each and every person, and they said they were afraid. They heard a motorcycle gang was coming, and they thought they were afraid of what we were going to force them to eat. What came from that day 10 years ago, last year we provided 120 meals to those people. Once they got to know who we were, what we do on a day-to-day basis, they accepted us with open arms. All I ask is that the membership give us a chance to continue our good deeds and let us earn your trust and respect. We don't want anything given to us, but give us the chance to be successful in other areas. Sir, I thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to go to microphone 2.
Combat Commander-in-Chief Bill Schaffler, VFW Post 1222, Arizona. I am a member of the Riders. I've been a member of the VFW Riders, I believe it was 2008 or 9 about then, Gene, right? Been around the Riders for a minute. Been around the MC once or twice. The problem for us in Arizona is that MC keeps sending new chapters to try and form in our state when they are unauthorized. They have never been authorized in the state of Arizona. 7 department commanders have told them, take your stuff and get it out of here. You're not going to run that MC stuff here. We are a riders group, and yet we are currently still battling them. They are here, some of them, wearing an Arizona VFW MC patch. That's a fake patch. That's a fake patch. We never authorized it. You never authorized it, but they're wearing it here with our cross of Malta on. Another issue. We all went downrange and we did our service and earned our eligibility, right? Did we join the VFW and then be told we have to prospect to be a member of that VFW? And yet they prospect their members into their motorcycle club. If we do have a little sit-down discussion with them between the riders and the MC, the whole discussion is, we are the elite and you are weak. I don't think they belong.
Microphone 3.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Dan West. Post Delegate, Post 3413, I call the question.
I have a motion. I need a second. Microphone 3.
Commander Steve Organ, Department of Mississippi, Post 5395. I second that call to question.
I have a motion and second. The call for the question.
Let's vote on the question. Are we going to call the question?
All in favor of calling the question signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we're voting on the original resolution 204. Right, 203. I'm sorry, 203. Oh, yeah, I got it. All in favor of adoption of resolution 203 signify by saying aye. All opposed? Noes have it. Where are we?
Here we go.
I think it's the last guy.
Comrades, we have two resolutions. 201, family rate. 202, inclusion of the military working dogs. Is there any of those that they want set aside today?
What number? 201, 202. Do I have a motion to accept 201 and 202? Hearing none? They're rejected. Die. Rejected.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, thank you very much for this appointment.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're not going to talk to me anymore. I'd like to call up report on committee on general resolutions, past Commander-in-Chief Bill Thine. And Vice Chairman, past Commander-in-Chief Hal Roach, I assure you this one should be not too much controversy.
Thank you, Chief. We're going to make this as painless as possible. Commander-in-Chief Sarmiento, I report to you the Convention Committee on General Resolutions convened at 2 p.m. Sunday, July 28, 2024. The roll call was taken, preliminary matters were discussed. The committee carefully deliberated its assigned resolutions. I would like to report the following. 301, 302 was ruled out of order. 303 was rejected. I wish to express my appreciation for the members of the committee for their hard work, dedication. Thank you, Chief, for the appointments.
Thank you, Chief. You bet. Is there a motion to adopt 303? There being none? Dead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Comrade. I've already banged the gavel. That he knows where he needed to be. I'm sorry, Comrade.
Comrade, my bad. Go ahead. I should say my bad. I want to give everybody the opportunity. You may have been in the back. Look, if you're going, if something gets rejected, though, you know it. Don't wait the last minute and run. I mean, be up to the mic.
Over there. Go ahead.
What the hell you doing way back there?
That's what
Oh, I thought you were pointing like in the back corner. Microphone number 1.
All right. Comrade Commander William H. White Jr., Post 3466, Post Commander and a delegate of South Charleston, West Virginia, and a proud Gold Star family member. This flag, I've been fighting for this for the last 2 or 3 years.
Comrade, we need a motion if you want to bring this up.
I'm sorry. I make a motion to adopt this resolution.
I have a motion to adopt 303. Is there a second? Microphone number 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Ken Wiseman, National Council Member from the department that passed this. I second the motion.
I have a motion and second to adopt this. Any discussion?
Microphone 1.
Microphone 1.
Thank you. Once again, Comrade Commander, my name is William H. White Jr. I'm the Post Commander, Post Delegate of 3466 South Charleston, West Virginia. Excuse me. And a Gold Star family member. And last year, I was up here at the microphone and got shut down with the call, you know, at the end. The question, one of our members from the West Virginia was in the resolution committee about this. And one of the questions that came up, and the main reason why it got rejected, was they were saying a trademark issue for being able to fly the flag. Now, the individual who brought that up was from Europe. Now, there might be an issue overseas in Europe, but as far as I know in the U.S., there is no problem with flying the flag. I give the flag out all the time. There's posts all over the place in West Virginia that are flying the flag. The Honor and Remember flag was set aside to give to families of service members that were killed in action. It is given to that service member at a separate ceremony. This has nothing to do with the graveside burial, like I said last year. This flag does not even go on a coffin. This flag does not replace any other flag. This flag is given to the serviceman's family in recognition of their death, so that they can fly it on special occasions. We all sit here and we said the other day, we totally support the Gold Star families and the Gold Star mothers. Well, guess what? This flag, the Gold Star families are trying to get this as a national flag. They are running against politicians in Washington, D.C. Now, there are currently 28 states that have adopted this flag within their state to be eligible to be flown on their state buildings. With that said, all we are asking is for the flag to have some kind of backing from the VFW in order so we can get this pushed through national legislation to be recognized as a flag to honor and remember those service members that were killed in action. I yield the floor, Comrade Commander.
Microphone number 1.
Commander-in-Chief, Ronald Delaney, past state commander, state of Louisiana, delegate. This has been argued for years, okay? Every time it comes up, it gets shot down. Because in this first part it says, be it resolved by the Veteran of Foreign Wars of the United States to endorse the honor and remembrance flag as the national flag of the remembrance for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to this nation. That is our flag, and that is the only flag we need to have. Do we not give it to the families? Yes, we do. That is our flag. I yield it back, sir.
Microphone number 2.
Comrade Commander J.R. Hackett, Post 9365, Alaska. I agree with the guy just said. This has been here to the floor several times. Nobody's saying that these families can't fly that flag anywhere in their yard anytime they want. They want to do that. That's where it was issued to them. They can fly the flag. On goes life. I call for the question.
We have a motion to call for we have a call for the question. Is there a second? Microphone 3.
Commander-in-Chief, K.J. Babcock, 7137 Delegate, Department of Idaho. I second the motion.
All in favor of calling for the question, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Going back to the adoption of this resolution. 303. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Defeated.
Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. Pleasure to serve. Real
easy. The next past chief on the fire line is a report of Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs, past Commander-in-Chief John Stroud. And past Commander-in-Chief Eubank.
Thank you, Comrade Commander-in-Chief. We'll try to show them how it's done. Commander-in-Chief Sarmiento, I report that your Convention Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs convened at 2 p.m. Sunday, July 28, 2024. The committee's Vice Chairman is past Commander-in-Chief Richard Eubank. Roll call was taken and the committee was addressed by the Director for the Defense Personnel Accounting Agency, Major General Kelly McKeague, Vice Minister Wu of the Taiwan Veterans Affairs Council, and VFW National Ambassador, retired SEAC Troxel. The committee carefully deliberated each of the 18 resolutions that it was assigned. Before proceeding to the report, I wish to express appreciation to Bob Jackson, Director of Operations for the Washington office, for the valuable technical guidance which they and their staff provided to the committee. I also want to thank Brad Hazel, Washington office staff, who served as our committee secretary by organizing our committee's resolutions and preparing this report. Commander-in-Chief, with your permission, I will begin the committee report by presenting those resolutions the committee recommends to be approved as written, then proceed to report those resolutions that failed to be adopted. If for any reason you or the delegates to this convention would like a resolution set aside for further discussion, nobody will. Please so indicate after we have completed each such segment of the report. The following resolutions have been recommended for approval. 401, preserve the all-volunteer force. 402, eliminate sexual assault and harassment in the military. 403, ensure DoD compliance with the TAP law. 404, keep defense budget relevant. 405, link military pay increases to private sector increases. 406, provide full concurrent receipt of military retirement. 407, pay and VA disability compensation. 411, recognition for Afghan and Iraqi combat support. 412, support the Republic of China on Taiwan. 413, support the Republic of Korea. 414, support the State of Israel. 415, support of NATO deterrence and support to Ukraine. 416, deported veterans. 418, expand the dates of eligibility for the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. And 419, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal for support of Ukraine. Commander, I move to accept the committee's recommendation to approve these resolutions. There were not any resolutions that the committee recommended to be amended.
We have a motion out of committee to accept the 4 series as a block. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Great job. Yeah, you showed them how to do it, Chief.
Thank you, comrades. I will now read the resolution numbers and titles that the committee recommends to be disapproved or rejected. Number 408, awarding the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal for expeditionary operations in Eastern Europe. Staff notes, failed to adopt in favor of resolution of 419, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal for support of Ukraine. 417, recognition of adding 74 sailors on the Vietnam Memorial. Staff comments, accident with a ship collision to add those casualties to the VVM. This was a training accident outside of the combat zone. This was debated for 45 minutes last year, and the Vietnam veterans present were against this resolution. If passed, the VVM would necessitate substantial modification and possibly a wholesale replacement of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall as it exists today. Per the Department of the Interior, recommend rejection based on discussion committee next year.
And lastly, 420, definition of Gold Star family member. VFW should not weigh in on this matter, as this was in the purview of other organizations, i.e. Gold Star wives, Gold Star families, etc. Commander, I recommend that we do not adopt these resolutions. Without a motion to approve these resolutions, they will not be advanced.
Are there any motions to approve the resolutions? Hearing none, motion's died.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I moved the paper.
No problem. Comrade Commander, this concludes the committee's report on national security and foreign affairs, and we request to be excused.
Absolutely. Chief, what? You can't be, you have a subcommittee, you can't be excused yet. Now, report of subcommittee on POW MIA, Chairman, past Commander-in-Chief John Hamilton.
I hope not. Where's Keith? Keith Boone? That's all right. This is Keith Harmon. He's the co-chairman vice chairman of this committee. Commander-in-Chief, I report to you the convention committee subcommittee POWMAs met on Sunday, 28th July at 2:30 p.m. The subcommittee carefully debated each of 3 resolutions that were assigned. Before proceeding, I'd like to report and express appreciation to Bob Jackson, Director of Operations for the Washington office, for his valuable technical guidance, which they and their staff provided to the committee. Bob, did I say that just as you wrote it? Is that good? Okay. All right. I also want to thank Brad Hayes of Washington office staff who served our committee as secretary by organizing our subcommittee's resolutions and preparing this report. Commander, with your permission, I will begin with the committee reports by presenting those resolutions the committee recommends to be approved as written, and then proceed with the resolution that failed to be adopted. If for any reason you, the delegates of this convention, would like a resolution set aside for further discussion, please so indicate after we have completed each segment of this report. I will now proceed by reading the resolution numbers and titles of the committee which the committee recommends as written. Resolution 409, Protect POW MIA Full Accounting Mission Funding. Resolution 410, Call for more unilateral POW MIA actions by Vietnam. Commander, I move that we accept the committee's recommendation to approve these resolutions.
We have a motion out of committee to pass the resolutions. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed.
There were not any resolutions by the committee recommended that were changed, recommended for approval. Also, for your information, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I will now read the resolution numbers and the titles the committee recommends that were not adopted. And 421 was not adopted. It was ruled out of order. Commander, I recommend that we do not adopt this resolution.
Chief. That resolution is out of order and can't be brought up even with a motion. Thank you. Is that it, Chief?
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that is all we have.
And past Commander-in-Chief Harmon, Vice, I didn't mention he was on it. He was the sub-chair of this, so sorry, Keith. Report of Committee on Veterans Service and Resolutions. Past Commander-in-Chief from the great state of New Jersey, Bob Wallace, and Vice Chairman Tim Borland. Past Commander-in-Chief. Great state.
The Garden State. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief.
And comrades, let me first of all recognize Vice Chairman Tim Borland, past Commander-in-Chief, and past Commander-in-Chief Brian Duffy, who helped us on the committee, and all the service officers that were part of the committee, and also the other members of the committee, because they did a good job. They persevered for a few hours. The committee was addressed by the VA Undersecretary for Benefits, the VA Undersecretary for Health, the Chairman of the Board of Appeals of Veterans Claims, the Deputy Undersecretary for Operations for the Cemetery System in the VA, and the Assistant Secretary for Veterans Employment and Training Service. So we had the A-team come and talk to the committee before we went into the resolutions. There were 3 subcommittees, and the subcommittee 1 was on health, chaired by Belinda Bolde from Georgia and Vice Chairman John Johnson from South Carolina. Staff advisors were Catherine Castle, Assistant Director of Veterans Health Policy, National Veterans Service, and Megan Thomas, Associate Director, National Legislative Service. Subcommittee 2 was benefits, chaired by Eric Drake from Ohio and Vice Chairman Shaw Ransford from Indiana. Staff advisors were Chris Makowitz, Deputy Director, National Veterans Service, Nancy Springer, the Associate Director, National Legislative Service. Subcommittee 3 was Economic Opportunities, chaired by Lori Clay from Virginia and Vice Chairman Jessica King from Pennsylvania. Staff advisors were Cindy Knoll, Assistant Director, Field Operations, National Veterans Service, and Christine Keenan, who is the Deputy Director, National Legislative Service. And I also want to express my sincere appreciation to Mike Figlioli, Pat Murray, Ryan Gallucci, and the staff of the Washington office for their advice, counsel, and working with us during the committee meetings. Especially want to recognize Chris. Chris did a super duper job. I'll begin by the committee report by presenting those resolutions the committee recommends to be approved as written, then proceed to report those resolutions that are recommended, approved as amended, and then those resolutions that were recommended rejected. Recommended, I now move the approval of the following resolutions. 601, adequate Department of Veterans Affairs budget. 602, VA pharmaceutical co-payments. 603, VA Medicare and TRICARE reimbursement. 604, nursing home eligibility. 605, traumatic brain injury, health care. 606, PTSD and mental health care. 607, VA health care for women veterans. 608, expand VA caregiver benefits. 609, sustainable community care options for veterans. 610, foreign medical care program. 611, electronic health records management. 612, military sexual trauma. 613, tinnitus and hearing loss presumptive compensable service connection. 614, VA claims workload. 615, toxic exposure. 616, digital claims process. 617, VA life insurance program. 618, domiciliary programs and temporary total ratings. 619, protecting VA accreditation. 620, AMA remands. 621, VSO involvement with the VASRD, the rating schedule. 622, fair and favorable effective dates. 623, justice for all for ALS veterans. 624, improved benefits for survivors. 625, veterans housing and food security priorities. 626, ensure veteran success in education. 627, veterans readiness and employment program eligibility. 628, support veterans employment training programs. 629, veteran entrepreneurship. 630, underserved veterans. 631, consumer protection for veterans. 632, expand veteran treatment courts. 633, free application for federal student aid. 635, government headstones. 637, VA home loan correction. 647, require civilian health and medical program of the Department of Veterans Affairs CHAMP fee acceptance. They were all submitted and approved as written. The ones that were amended, 603, VA Medicare and TRICARE reimbursement, we added to include TRICARE overseas at the end of the be it resolved. 634, support and assistance for surviving family members of veteran suicide. We removed veteran suicide awareness through the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Are there any set-asides? Microphone 1.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Robert Dorst, Department of Europe. I request set aside 611.
611 set aside. Any other set-asides? Hearing no other set-asides, we'll have a motion for those approved by the committee. Doesn't need a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. So set aside 611. Microphone 1 for discussion.
Thank you, Comrade. I wish to amend the 611 be amended under the third whereas, the fourth paragraph, as whereas the medical records submitted to the VHA to support reimbursement under the foreign medical program are not being added to the veterans' medical records. This practice prevents the continuity of care that the veteran may receive at the VAMCs, as well as requiring superfluous submission of medical records when applying for future VA compensation, which delays adjudication. Be it resolved that the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, that we urge the VA to provide competent command and control from the VHA leadership and enforce standardization of the electronic health record, the EHR, integrated across VA facilities, including medical records received under the Foreign Medical Program, and continued partnership and collaboration with VSO stakeholders.
Comrade, thank you. Is there a second to the amendment? Microphone 2.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Monty Zimmerman, VFW Post 7589, Delegate. I second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Microphone 1.
If I can give background about this, when a veteran who lives in a foreign country or visiting a foreign country gets care for a service-connected condition, it falls under the Foreign Medical Program. This program is a reimbursement program for treatment and care received for service-connected conditions. In order to submit this claim, the veteran has to submit the record of care with each itemized list, as well as proof of payment. The VA then will mail them a check from the Department of Treasury for the reimbursement. This is going to the VHA, but it does not go into the veteran's record at all, whether it's in VBMS, I'm the Department of Europe Service Officer, by the way, or into the veteran's health record. So if the veteran goes back to the States and gets care at a veteran hospital, they have no record of what medication, what treatment, what diagnostics have been done for that veteran, which can endanger that veteran's life.
Is there any further discussion? I recognize Executive Ryan Gallucci.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief Ryan Gallucci, Delegate Virginia Post 3150. I want to speak on this because this resolution simply speaks to the VA electronic health record. I believe that this amendment would be out of order because the Foreign Medical Program is a VA community care program. While this would warrant certainly a separate resolution to speak to the return of Foreign Medical Program records to VA, this specific resolution from the committee simply speaks to implementation of an electronic health record throughout the VA healthcare system. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Microphone 1.
I understand, Ryan, you are correct. However, I consider the Foreign Medical Program a stakeholder for the VHA. And part of that is processing the Foreign Medical Program's claims. And filling this vacuum is necessary for the safety of the veterans.
Thank you, comrade. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're going to vote on the amendment. All in favor of amending that resolution, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion is not amended. Back to the discussion on the original resolution. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor of the resolution, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Passed. To the comrade from Europe, the service officer, DSO, I think what Ryan, you're looking for a separate, Ryan. Type that up, we'll put a separate resolution in for sure, all right? It just, you got caught up in the technicalities, what happened. Anything else you have?
I yield to the Vice Chairman.
Good afternoon, comrades. Last but not least, your immediate past Commander-in-Chief. These following resolutions were recommended not to be adopted, and I want to keep in mind there's 11 of them, but 10 of them, the reason why is because the Commander-in-Chief's resolutions prior to this have already been approved and they're similar. I will read the following resolutions that were recommended not to be adopted. 636, Traumatic Brain Injury and Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Program, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 606. 638, Recognize Presumptive Conditions from Fort McClellan, Alabama, in favor of Commander-in-Chief's Resolution 615. 639, Continue Fighting to End Veterans Homelessness, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 625. 640, Support Women Veterans, in favor of Commander-in-Chief's Resolution 630, which addresses underserved veterans. 641, Tinnitus and Hearing Loss, Presumptive Service Connection, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 613, already covers adding hearing loss and tinnitus as presumptive conditions. 642, Expand Veteran Treatment Courts, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 632, with the same title, covers the intent of this resolution. 643, Military Sexual Trauma, MST, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 612, with the same title that covers this intent. 644, Increase Veterans Barrier Benefits. This resolution was accomplished last year, and there was already an increase in these benefits. 645, urge Congress to support the Major Richard Starr Act, in favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 406 and the National Security and Foreign Affairs resolutions, which covers the provisions of the Major Richard Starr Act in that it is written to allow VFW to continue to advocate for full concurrent receipt of military retirement and VA disability compensation. 646, automatically generate claims upon diagnoses. In favor of Commander-in-Chief Resolution 622, which covers assigning earlier effective dates based on treatment. And last but not least, 648, Veteran Suicide Awareness. This Department resolution is a duplicate of Commander-in-Chief's Resolution 606, which covers mental health disorders. Commander-in-Chief, I recommend that we do not adopt these resolutions without a motion to approve these resolutions. They will not be advanced.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt any of these resolutions? Being none, motion dies. Oh, Sergeant at Arms, will you please perform the closing ceremonies? Woo!
Comrades, all rise. Comrade National Chaplain, would you lead us in our closing prayer? Uncover, parade, rest.
Lord, as we close for the day, guide us to think about the things that we have learned today and the things we will do tomorrow. Help us to process the information we are presented with and use it effectively to assist our fellow veterans. May our evening be full of rekindling old friendships and making new friends. Help us to prepare for the rest of this week as the finer details will make the VFW more successful for the care of our comrades. May we all return tomorrow morning ready to work together. Amen.
Amen. Veterans of foreign wars of the United States, attention. Comrades facing the flag of our nation, please join me in a final salute to our colors. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that completes the closing ceremony of this session of the 125th National Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, sir.
Thank you.
Woo! And the Bible.